Plagiarism and copyrights. Plagiarism and copyrights are important terms that every writer should be well aware of. It is the moral responsibility of the writer towards his profession to avoid plagiarism and abide by copyright laws. Some writers are ignorant about copyrights and plagiarism. This module will familiarize you with these important concepts, which will go a long way with you in your career. At the end of this module, you will be able to understand the concept of plagiarism, understand the concept of copyrights, explain the copyright issues in medical writing. Plagiarism refers to the act of copying somebody's content or ideas and claiming it to be your own original work. Plagiarism is equivalent to taking credit of others' work. It is not merely copying the content, but it is like stealing someone's content without giving them their due credit. With the development of internet, plagiarism has tremendously increased due to easy access to content and ease of copying and pasting content from various sources. There are basically two types of plagiarism. The first type involves copying of content without giving credit to the author or citing the source. The second type involves copying of content with citing the source but not making it visually distinct. Here the writer may copy a sentence or two from other sources and may cite the sources as well, but it not very distinguished from the other texts. The writers should remember the following points related to plagiarism. Do not copy. If you need to take some concept, read it, close it and then paraphrase it in your own words. If you need to copy some content verbatim, always cite the source. It is advisable to either leave a line from the rest of the text and then write the copied content with source cited or put it in italics, so that is visually different. Do not copy entire paragraphs. When taking content from internet sources, be careful not to take content from plagiarized websites. These are few tips you can use to detect plagiarism in content. The language seems to be different in different sections. It may be simple at some places and sophisticated at other sections. The reference numbers in the text may not match that with the list in the reference section. There may be discrepancy in the name and year of the journals. To check plagiarism in online content, put the URL in www.copyscape.com and you will get to know which all other web pages have the same content. Nowadays, there are many software, free and paid, that can be used to detect plagiarism. Example, Dupli Checker, Copworks, Paper Rater, Plagiarism Checker, Plague Scan, Plague Tracker. Copyright is another term that all the writers should understand and respect. United States Copyright Office defines copyright as a form of protection provided by the laws of the United States to the authors of original works of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, artistic, and certain other intellectual works. Copyright is a lawful protection provided to the original works of authorship, which are fixed in a tangible form of expression. There are few keywords highlighted which should be understood to know copyrights better. Lawful protection means that copyright laws can be applied if there is any copyright infringement. If the infringements are proved, then the damages have to be paid by the violating party to the copyright holder. Original work means that copyright does not hold for duplicated work or copied material. Tangible form of expression means that the original work should be visible or demonstratable. If a writer has an idea in his mind which is not yet put on paper, it is thought to be intangible and hence not protected by copyrights. However, if the same idea is expressed as writing, painting, or music, it is a tangible form and copyrighted. As per the copyright laws, a copyright holder has the right to do the following: reproduce the work in copies, prepare derivative works based upon the original work, distribute copies of the work to the public by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending, perform the work publicly, in the case of literary, musical, dramatic, and choreographic works, and motion pictures and other audiovisual works. Display the work publicly, in the case of literary, musical, dramatic, and choreographic works, and pictorial, graphic, or sculptural works, including the individual images of a motion picture or other audiovisual work. Transfer the copyrights to other person through written and signed agreement. Who is a copyright holder? The author of an original work is the copyright holder unless he transfers it to the other. The copyrights on the work of hire can be claimed by the employer and not by the employee. Whatever work an employee generates in the course of his employment is the authorship of his employer. United States Copyright Office specifies works of hire as the following: a work prepared by an employee within the scope of his or her employment, a work specially ordered or commissioned for use as a contribution to a collective work, or a part of a motion picture or other audiovisual work, or 3, a translation or a supplementary work, or a compilation, or an instructional text or a test or answer material for a test or an atlas. What is copyrighted? All the works that are original and fixed in tangible forms of expression are copyrighted. It includes literary works, musical works, including any accompanying words, dramatic works, including any accompanying music, pantomimes and choreographic works, pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works, motion pictures and other audiovisual works, sound recordings, architectural works. What is not copyrighted? United States Copyright Office categorizes materials that are not copyrighted, which includes works in an intangible form of expression, titles, names, short phrases, and slogans, familiar symbols or designs, mere variations of typographic ornamentation, lettering, or coloring, mere listings of ingredients or contents, ideas, procedures, methods, systems, processes, concepts, principles, discoveries, or devices, as distinguished from a description, explanation, or illustration. Works consisting entirely of information that is common property and containing no original authorship. Notice of copyright. Any copyrighted work should have following 3 elements to indicate that it is Notice of copyright. Notice of copyright. Any copyrighted work should have following 3 elements to indicate that it is copyrighted: the letter C in a circle or the word copyright or the abbreviation COPR, the year of first publication of the work, the name of the owner of copyright in the work. Duration of copyright. The copyright is valid for the author's life plus an additional 70 years after the author's death. For the works that were created for hire and of anonymous authors, the copyright is valid for 95 years from publication or 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. There is a difference in copyright objectives when it comes to literary work and scientific work. Literary works need to be copyrighted to protect the financial gains of the original author. The objective of copyrights for scientific works goes beyond the financial gains. Consider the following scenarios which are very common in scientific community. As per the Creative Commons license, any published content is open for reuse, distribution, data mining, etc. by anyone, provided the attribution is made to the original work. It also permits the authors to reuse their own material for any purpose, including commercial profit attribution. However, in this case the author needs to mention the date of first publication. Plagiarism is unacknowledged use of someone else's work, which may or may not be copyrighted. Plagiarism of non-copyrighted material cannot be challenged in court of law. Copyright infringement or violation is unlawful use of someone else's work. Copyrights can be challenged in court of law. Summary. In this module, you have learnt the concept of plagiarism, the concept of copyrights and copyright issues in medical writing.